Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk About House. I'm Todd.
I'm Juana.
Okay, we have discovered reason number 324 why the housing market will crash in 2026. Okay, we've been through the other ones, the foreclosures that never happened, the recession that we're still waiting for. Nostradamus, I think, made a prediction that, at some point housing would crash. And but here it is. That we're going to talk about this ridiculous thing that's out there that people keep commenting, saying, Todd, you guys should talk about this. Here we go. House price gurus 18-year cycle predicted a 2026 crash. Have high rates made it sooner?
Well, stay tuned. Let's dive in and take a look at this.
Okay, so first of all, apparently he's claiming, whoever made this, first of all, there's nothing. We'll get to a point where we show you. He's claiming he not only did he predict the 2008 housing crash, that's why it's 2026. He also predicted the 1990 housing crash, which we were scratching our head, going, "I must have missed that one. I don't remember housing crash in 1990."
No, I remember buying a house in 1990, though.
Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, I'm going to put this chart up here. Wanda, this is the actual chart. So if you look at the chart, you've probably seen it before. If you're watching this video, you're probably trying to figure this thing out. So you've got property prices vertically and then time. So year 1 through 7 is recovery phase. Mm-hmm. Recovery, obviously, from some kind of crash. Then you have a mid-cycle dip that looks like it takes place in year like 5 or 6, which I don't know, is that a crash? Or is that maybe just a spring to fall, like housing correction or something? Right. Then there's the explosive phase. Year 7 to 14, I guess he's talking about property prices. And then the recession phase, which is a 4-year period where home prices fall. So, Wanda, let's talk about this. Does this make any sense at all? Like, when you look at this, you're like, what are the economics behind this?
Oh, I know.
Oh, what are they?
Okay, so here's the way this game works.
Okay.
You put the chart out, and you talk about it a whole lot, and you get on all the media outlets, and everybody clicks on your stuff, and you sell your program to people, and you make money. And whether it happens or not is irrelevant, because your economic incentive is to get as many eyeballs on this as possible so you can sell your program and make money. So the bottom line is follow the money.
I think it's unusual that, think about the amount of money that there would be as if you could, no kidding, really time the stock market or time anything. Like, would you have thought 3 years ago that interest rates right now would be almost 8%? No, like nobody would. The Fed, nobody had a clue. Everyone's like, oh, it's going great. We got economy's raging. Yeah, we just came out of the COVID thing. Like, even in COVID, people didn't even know if they were going to be able to buy toilet paper next week. So the idea that there's some kind of mystical, magical 18-year land cycle is completely ridiculous. There is nothing. What this guy did was basically looked at the last housing crash and then tried to kind of make up a thing and predict a 2026. Now, remember, we were supposed to have a 2019 housing crash, and then it went to 2020, of course, with the recession, where the COVID is going to crash it, and then 2021 and 2022, and now this year, apparently, we're in the housing crash, even though home prices are up year over year, right?
So there will be a housing crash. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
It may not happen this decade. I don't know when it's going to happen, because if I knew when it would happen, then, I would act on that. But I don't know when that's going to happen. And I can guarantee you that nobody knows when it's going to happen. There are very smart people who are trying to game the system, but nobody knows when it's going to happen. And, there are certainly far smarter people than us, or than the person who made this delightful chart, that are watching the housing market very closely, i.e. the hedge funds with trillions between them of money in the residential real estate space as well as other real estate spaces. And they have a lot of money riding on this, a lot of smart people looking at this, a lot of modeling, a lot of intelligence strictly focused on this. And what are they doing? They're buying residential real estate. Now, what does that tell you? That the sky is falling? Maybe not.
Yeah. So here's my prediction. I predicted 20% price collapse that will take a couple years after prices have basically doubled from what they are now. So maybe 10 to 20 years from now, when median homes in the US are 800,000, we'll have some economic thing where home prices decline 20%. You should wait the 20 years to buy a house. Don't worry about right now buying a house, because you'll be able to tell your friends, I know you guys buying those houses when they were $400,000, but I waited till they crashed down to 700,000 because I'm so smart and I just paid rent. And yeah, I was paying $4,000 a month rent where you guys had $2,000 a month housing payment, whatever. But I bought at the bottom of the crash, and you guys just bought, way back when you were being done. Okay, here's the thing. This is a Fred chart, guys. Look at this chart. Show me on here the 1990 housing crash. Show me so where was the crash then 18 years before that, 1972? Like, I don't see a lot of housing crashes. I see you had housing decline from 2008 to 2000, actually it was 2006 to 2010. You can see what median home prices did. Mm-hmm. There were some markets like Vegas that had bigger declines, okay? Home prices have basically just gone up. They sort of leveled off 2019. That's when we were first told they were going to crash. Mm-hmm. And since then, you can see what happened. Home prices have really just gone up, okay? I'm not saying they'll keep going up. They could certainly decline. But nothing in that chart that we showed you is showing up on here. Okay, here's the other thing. This is like the hottest thing on the planet right now. Everyone's talking about this stupid thing. I want you to go Google it and go find the oldest article you can find. And it's like 2 years old. Like, literally, this is made up shit. Okay, this isn't, okay? That's the first thing. It's absolutely made up. You ready for this? The guy that invented this based 100% of his analysis by tracking property values in Australia, which has completely different economies, meaning housing there works substantially different than it works here because there's different government incentives. They have different ways they finance from us, right? They're tied to different things. Australia has different economic cycle, has completely different demographics, right? Completely, it's an Australian guy who predicted an Australian property cycle. Now, this is not physics. This is not like if you weigh an item and it has a certain mass and you put it under some acceleration, you can exactly measure the amount of momentum it has, right? Physics works the same everywhere. Whatever property values do in Australia, they don't do that here. And whatever property values do in Kansas, they don't do that in New York City or San Diego or Austin, Texas or Las Vegas, Nevada. Want it? The whole thing is super ridiculous. And the chart even looks ridiculous because nowhere, you can't make that chart match anything. Plus, he's predicting this thing's not going to even happen for 3 more years. Like, how would they know something would 18 years down the road would cause housing to crash? It's super stupid, isn't it? Like the thing that gets me is that people they see stuff like this and they believe it.
Well, so remember, it's entertainment, right? I mean, understand the difference between fact and fiction. Understand the difference between hard data like the Fred chart and this less than elegant chart that our friend in Australia made. Look, real estate is hyperlocal, so we've talked about this a lot. So even within the same zip code, you've got different things going on, let alone across multiple markets or different continents. So it is very different. But even taking Australia into consideration, and please understand, I am not an expert in Australian property values. Just logically thinking it through, and we talk about this a lot, put your thinking cap on. What makes sense to you? And to me, this doesn't make sense because there are a lot of different variables that cause economic cycles, and for him to put that out there as a constant is at best disingenuous, at worst just complete bollocks. So just kind of consider that. There are lots of people out there who put out all kinds of data that to Todd's point, they manufacture. And they manufacture for whatever they're peddling, and that's fine. Whether it's their, 15 seconds of fame or some product or course or whatever it is that they're peddling, that's fine. What we're talking about is things that we can back up with data that we did not in any way create. It is data that's available for everyone out there to verify, and that's the point of what our discussion is normally, is just data that is easily verified.
Economic data, economic cycles, or economic anything is reviewed by people with PhDs in economics. It's reviewed at universities. There are people that do peer reviews that actually review the data, and they put their professional explanation on maybe some other things that could cause it. This ridiculous 18-year property cycle or 18-year land cycle doesn't have any of that. There's no peer review. It's a made-up thing. It's like a brand new thing somebody just invented to sell some course. Like, I'm an investing guru. Buy my course. Follow me. I've created this cycle. This will tell you the best time you should buy. Remember, according to this, you shouldn't have bought a house in 2019. Prices. Look at this chart. When was the best time to buy a house? All the way over to the left. You should have bought a bunch of houses in 1965. But Todd, I wasn't born in 1965. That's your problem. Okay? I was a baby in 1965. Okay? I wasn't buying houses then either. But you can see on this chart, unless you bought a house in 2006 and had to sell it in 2009, you pretty much made money. Okay? You can go all the way back, probably the last 100 years. In any 10-year period on this chart, if you bought a house in 2006 at the top of the market, like the peak of the housing market, and you sold it 10 years later in 2016, look at this chart, you made money. Even though for a short period of time, on paper, you were behind, you still did better buying a house and keeping it for 10 years and selling it. Now, I'm not saying I know what home prices are going to do next year, 2 years, 3 years, but I do know this. Historically, home prices are going up.
Right.
I don't see that stop. I just honestly don't see that stopping.
Look, we can all agree that inflation is not something that's ever going to go away. The amount that we have will vary, but inflation will continue. So long as inflation continues, property values tend to follow inflation. So even if all things are equal and the only thing that housing does is keep up with inflation, that means that housing values will go up at least to keep up with inflation. And that's just very basic, that we can all follow along. We don't need a PhD in economics to understand that. So what do you think? Does that nice chart that the Mr. Guru made make sense to you? Is that something that you want to hang your hat on? Do you find more value in the Fred chart? What's your take on the whole thing? Leave us your real estate related comments. We appreciate them. Please remember to like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.